Hey, welcome to my course or video series on mindfulness meditation. So there are many types of meditation. Traditionally, there's kind of two big categories, which is Vipassana and Shamatha. Shamatha is about pulling in all your awareness and focusing it on one point. It's a concentration-based practice. What you're trying to do is develop a steadiness and clarity of mind. The idea is that if our mind is obscured by thoughts, that we can't really see the true nature of the mind. So we're trying to calm the mind. We're trying to calm down all the thoughts and bring a sense of steadiness and clarity so we can really observe the mind without thoughts. Now, this is really difficult. And this is what most meditation that you find today is geared towards. It's really focusing concentration. But the other type, Vipassana or mindfulness meditation, is more about observing our mind in its natural state. It's about watching how our mind works, watching how our mind moves and jumps from one topic to the next, and watching how our body sensations arise, watching how the feelings are tied to the thoughts. So I have a confession, which is I have ADHD and it's pretty severe. It was really difficult for me to focus in meditation. Doing a shamatha-based practice, a focus-based practice, was pretty much impossible for me. And what happened was it created even more of this reactivity. It just made me realize, okay, I can't do this. I'm not good at this. This isn't working. And it wasn't that helpful. When I started practicing more of a mindfulness style of meditation, it was really a turning point because there was actually a lot more to do and I wasn't resisting anything. I wasn't trying to resist thoughts. I wasn't trying to resist my experience. I was actually bringing this curiosity and openness to the experience and trying to see how deeply I can experience my feelings. How aware can I be of each thought arising? And how do the thoughts occur to me? And this is really interesting, is that we're always thinking, but we never really look at how the thoughts are happening or how we experience thoughts. What do thoughts look like and where do they appear and what do they sound like? Mindfulness meditation is about bringing all this more into awareness. It's about seeing these things as they are. We go through most of our lives on autopilot and we're projecting our experience. We see what we expect to see. We feel what we expect to feel. We don't really take the time to go in and notice, what are we really feeling in this moment? How are my feelings occurring to me? What's coming up on the subtle layers and levels of being? Our experience is so multidimensional. There's so much to pay attention to, and yet we end up in this habitual way of experiencing the world, and we're not actually watching. We're not actually listening. We're not experiencing things as they are. We're experiencing them mostly as we expect them to be. Through the practice of mindfulness meditation, we're developing these skills of awareness, these skills of being able to watch our experience more intently and to notice our biases, to notice our reactivity, to notice where we're not fully aware. We're all stuck in these things. We're all prisoners to our habits. And the practice of mindfulness meditation first brings these more into awareness. And at first that can be a little overwhelming. It can be, oh no, look how stuck I am. Look how intense my mind is. But through the awareness, there's a little more spaciousness and there's a little more freedom. And with this practice of coming more and more into awareness over and over and just watching our experience with acceptance without trying to change it, it can shift. These things fundamentally change and we end up being more internally free. So mindfulness meditation is really about finding freedom. Freedom from ourselves, freedom from our habits, freedom from our reactivity. It's about seeing our experience for what it is and being able to act from a place of real intelligence or wisdom or presence. There's a lot more I can say about the benefits of mindfulness meditation. It can make pain less painful. It can make joyous moments more fulfilling. There's a lot it can do for us, but we're going to explore that more in depth as we go. I've designed this course or video series to start with the basics, with a foundation for an absolute beginner. And even if you're an experienced practitioner, these things might be new to you. So what I found was that even though I was quite well educated in certain practices and certain lineages, there was a lot that I didn't know. There was a lot of styles of practice that I hadn't come into contact with. Through being introduced to a variety of practices through a number of great teachers and friends, I found the practices that really worked for me, the practices that really met my needs. And this is what I want to offer to you. I want to show you different ways of practicing and build out a whole understanding of all the various ways we could practice mindfulness meditation. So this is going to be an introductory into many different ways of practicing, and each one is a path that you could spend a lifetime going down. So there's a lot to learn here. There's going to be a lot of new ideas, and this is really just like a tasting menu of what are the different types of practices I can do. And if one really appeals to you, you can go further down that road. You can find the teachers that teach in that way to really deepen that type of practice. So we're going to start with the very foundations of practice. And this is the foundation of not just mindfulness meditation, but any type of meditation practice. It's posture and attitude. When a lot of people start meditating, they think they need to sit on the ground, and it's really painful if you're not used to it, if you have tight hips or a tight lower back like me. And for me, it took me years to get comfortable sitting on the ground, literally years before I could sit on the ground. And if I don't sit for a while on the ground, if I'm sitting in chairs and whatnot, going back to a practice sitting on the ground is actually pretty uncomfortable at first. There's a lot of tools, a lot of props you can use. There's good meditation benches, and you can get these high cushions, all sorts of things. But sitting in a chair to meditate, or even sitting on a couch, is perfectly fine. Now, ideally, there's a certain alertness in how you're sitting, and this is why we don't want to be slumped down on a couch. We want to be sitting up and feeling alert. Often we can sit on the edge of a chair, so you're sitting on the edge and you're not leaning on the back, and ideally your feet are also firmly planted on the floor, so you're feeling a sense of firmness, groundedness in the way you're sitting. The spine is nice and long. That's the most important thing out of any posture, that the spine feels long and not compressed and not hunched and not bent or curved in any way. To make the spine feel long, you can imagine a thread is at the back of your head, the top right here of the skull, and it's pulling up. So the spine's getting long, stretching. With every in-breath, the spine gets longer. And then the out-breath, the shoulders relax. Everything relaxes and just hangs off the spine. So your hands can be on your lap, they can be folded, and sometimes you might have to move them to find whatever's comfortable, and that's perfectly fine. Now, the posture is emphasized in different ways in different traditions, but it's a very deep well you can go down. There's a great book called The Posture of Meditation, written by Will Johnson, and it goes into a lot of depth around the psoas muscles and various other aspects of posture. And the posture itself can be an object of meditation. In the Zen tradition, there is a specific practice where you're just meditating on your posture and what it feels like to have a very specific posture. So let's start that practice right now. Take a deep breath. Close your eyes if that's comfortable. So some traditions do eyes open meditation, some traditions do eyes closed meditation. It's really up to you to find what works, what's most comfortable, and it may change as you go. It may change day to day. If your eyes are going to be open, have them like half open, relaxed. Have the gaze lowered, and have the focus soft. And you can try that, but then close your eyes and see how that feels. For the first many years I practiced, it was in the Tibetan tradition where all the practices were done with eyes open. And then when I worked with other teachers, they gave me permission to close my eyes, and it was such a relief. And how I mostly practice with eyes closed. I usually just practice with eyes open, either when I'm in nature and it's kind of a beautiful setting, or when I'm tired and I need that kind of open-eyedness to keep me more alert. So just get comfortable how you're sitting right now and let the spine feel nice and long again. Feel that sense of alertness. And then feel the nice ease and relaxedness. So the posture is this balance of alertness and ease. You want to be sitting with a sense of poise and dignity. So just tune in and feel that. And just notice what it feels like to sit this way. If you're normally slouched like me, it may feel unnatural. It may feel quite different. Just notice these subtle differences. How does it feel to sit firm and yet at ease? Notice if you're holding any tension in the face, jaw, shoulders, hips. Just let go of whatever tension you can. And whatever is left, you just accept. You're just okay with it. And this is the second foundational aspect to meditation, which is our attitude. It's this allowing everything to be as it is, this non-judgmental awareness. Can we observe ourselves, observe our experience without trying to change anything, just accepting it fully, being totally okay with it, even if it's uncomfortable? And coming back to the posture, you can imagine yourself solid and peaceful like a mountain. There's a practice where we just imagine ourselves as a mountain. And notice how our posture is connected to our attitude. How we sit is connected to how we feel. You notice yourself thinking, it's okay. Just come back to the feeling of posture and check in with your attitude. Just this easygoingness, allowing everything to be just as it is, not fighting with or resisting any part of our experience. And being really curious, feeling ourselves, our body, as if for the first time. Just noticing, what does it really feel like to sit? What does it even feel like to have a body? What are the sensations and the subtle energies present right now? And again, noticing our attitude. We're trying to make something happen. We're just coming more and more into this allowing, just allowing everything to just be as it is. And just notice, how is this different from how we normally feel? Our normal state of being, and this, what's the difference? What's the quality of awareness that differs? When we intentionally come into presence, what are we doing, and how does that change our experience? Another aspect of attitude is what they call don't know mind, or beginner's mind. It's to approach our experience as if we really don't know, as if we're a total beginner, as if this is our first time being human, our first moment. What is it like to exist? Our mind's constantly searching for answers, it's trying to figure out problems. But can we remain in the not knowing? Can we just remain in the mystery of being? Just being fully open to whatever arises in our experience, the thoughts, feelings, sensations. And again, just noticing what's happening in our experience. Are we thinking? What's it like to think? How do we experience our thoughts? And coming back to the feeling of posture, noticing our attitude, for holding anywhere, for resisting, seeing how open we can be to this experience of presence. And just slowly now, opening your eyes if they're closed, coming back. Just how did you find that? So I really encourage you to leave comments. Let me know how you found the practice, or if you have any questions. Another thing is, we don't want to get too caught up in having a perfect posture. What happens is, if we get too fixated on our posture being perfect, we make all these little micro adjustments and we never really get settled. The idea is to have a good posture, a solid posture, that long spine, the relaxedness, but then just to be okay with whatever else happens. If it isn't perfect, that's okay. So thank you for practicing with me. If you enjoyed this video, like, comment, subscribe. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments, and I really appreciate it.